especially good morning. Good morning, class. How are you doing? I hope you have had a good sleep and you could rest. We were talking about some kind of some new information. We are going to have one task less in the total number of tasks. And that will give us more time to finish previous tasks that we haven't been able to finish yet. So do not forget, people who finish the task for today will have one more week, next week, to finish all other tasks. Also, people who are behind, or people who have to do some corrections, please do them and upload again, upload the task again. So we will try to continue with finishing in 1 week. It's not mandatory. I am not taking into account this fact, but eventually I need your tasks. So it's your organization. You depend on your own organization of your time. What we need to have is reading some exercises, probably reflected, so that the following class we can discuss. But I am not going to check that tasks are done in 1 week. Is a recommendation, yes. So do your best. Do your best. Is a kind of recommendation to complete. Do you have any? So we will. You will have time to complete. You will have time to correct in case, or complete in case there is something that is not finished correctly. And this is organization of the week. Do you have any other questions? So I have been checking that some of you have uploaded task 2. I will start correcting, reading, and sending you feedback about that. Okay. And today we have a workshop task 1, the characteristics of scientific research process. And the presentations of 5 main chapters of the book by Mr. Nicholas Walliman, Research Methods, the Basics. And the important thing here is that you focus on the most important elements of the chapters to share with classmates. The chapters are interesting, very interesting. They have different kinds of views according to what you're going to do, but also important in order to have to bear into consideration that you will need to prepare a pre-project by the end of the semester. So that would be useful. So now we have students' presentations. So groups from elementary school program have prepared these summaries, and they will be presenting in order so that we have an overview of what is the most important, of what is the most important information in these 5 chapters. As I said, you are invited to read them. They're easy to read. It's a good practice, but also you can find more details if there is something you need to know in detail. Okay, so the first ones, Camila and Daniela.
Yes.
Are you ready? Okay, do you have any other questions? I think we are.
No.
Think about them, and we can talk about them by the end. Okay, so we'll stop sharing. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Okay. You see the slide?
Okay.
Yes, coming. We can see it.
Okay, Tani?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, today with my classmates talk about the research basic and the investigation in Camila and coming the term now.
Okay, first, what is research? Research is figuring out things about something we want to know more in depth, or figuring out something no one knows. And research and research methods are techniques that give you tools to find out more about your research.
The investigation we can use to categorize this tries to form a set of names or boxes in which we can order the information. It serves to explain things. Then describe it rails in training as a means of collecting data. And then you can see the explain. It is used to deal with complex issues. The goal is to go further in order to make sense of it. Evaluate. It is asked to make judgments about the quality of objects or events. Compare. It is asked to examine two or more contrasting cases to highlight the difference and similarities between them, which leads to a better understanding of the phenomena.
Phenomena.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correlate. It is used to relate between two phenomena are investigated to see if they influence each other and how. Predict. Prediction is possible behavior or future events are made on the basis of whether there has been a strong relationship between two or more characteristics of event in the past. Control. As you understand an event or situation, you may be able to find ways to control it. You can combine two or more of these objectives in the research project, which some things one objective needing to be successful achieved before starting the next. For example, you usually need to be able to explain how something happens before you can work out how to control it. Wellman.
Yeah.
Okay, and also we have the research design. We have a lot of research design, and each one has its own tools. The first is historical. It is used to find contemporary solutions based on the past and to inform about the present and future events. For this historical investigation, it is necessary to carry or test to verify the authenticity of these sources.
Descriptive. It's a based on observation as means of collecting data, depending of the type of information being researched for research. People may collect data interviews, distributed questionnaires, visual records, made or even sounds. The important thing is that this data can be analyzed later.
Correlation. It is used to examine a relationship between two concepts. The correlation between two concepts can either be known no correlation, positive, where an increase in one result in the screens in the other, or decrease result in a decrease, or negative, where the increase in one results in the decrease in the other, or vice versa.
Comparative. It's used to compare past and present or different parallel situations, particularly when the researcher has not control over events. This doesn't use analogy to identity similarities if two events are similar in certain characteristics.
Experimental. Experimental research attempts to isolate and control all relevant conditions that determine the facts investigated. First, a hypothesis is required to determine which variables to test and how they can be controlled and measured.
Simulations involves devising a representation in a small and simplified form or model of a system which can be manipulated to give effects. The results must be checked with the actual system to call them related results. It is similar to experimental design in the respect of manipulation, but it provides a more artificial environment in that it does work with original materials at the same scale.
Evaluation. Its goal is to be beyond just getting the fact, trying to make sense of the mirror, of the meaning of human, political, social, cultural, and contextual element involved.
Action. It's on a spot producer designed primarily to address a specific problem that is in a particular situation. Action research depends primarily on observation and behavioral data. Since it is so linked to a particular situation, it is difficult to generate the results. That is to be sure that the action will succeed in another context.
Ethnological. The research ethnological focus on people. In this approach, the researcher is interested in how research subjects interpret their own behavior, rather than impose a theory from the outside. It considers that the context is as important as the action it studies, and try to represent the entire social, cultural, and economic situation.
Feminists. This is more of a perspective than research design involving theory and analysis that highlight the differences between men's and women's lives. Feminist research is carried out with a political commitment to identify the transformed gender relations. It is not only political, but exposes all methods of social research as political.
Okay. And the cultural. The cultural research provides methodology that allow a consistent analysis of cultural texts so that they can be compared, replicate, refute, and generalize. Example of approach to the interpretation of cultural texts are context analysis, semiotics, and discourse analysis.
What is the best research things? Is your decision. You can choose about all the themes or topics explained today.
Yes, and so thank you, girls. So you think, so if you think you have a great amount, a variety of different kinds of research types and designs, yes, and it all depends on what you are going to investigate, to research. Okay, so this first chapter is again important whenever you're thinking of your own projects. Yes, remember that when the time comes, yes, which will be soon, and therefore you will need this to revise all of these issues. Thank you, girls. Wonderful. The second group is number 2.
Me, teacher, with Javiera.
Oh, Javiera, yes.
Yes.
Another second. Okay.
Javi, you share the presentation.
Okay. I see.
Sí,
The screen.
expándelo.
Yes. No. What moment?
Now,
Okay.
yes. Okay. Good morning, teacher and classmates. Today with Javiera, we will talk about the research theory corresponding to chapter 2 of the book Research Methods, the Basics. In the following presentation, approaches related to the investigation of philosophy will be presented. We will understand the different ways of creating knowledge, and we will name some iconic characters who have contributed to the investigation. Here, for example, you will know what is metaphysics and epistemology, inductive and deductive reasoning, hypothetical reasoning, positivism, relativism, among others. So, it is important to say that philosophy has the same purpose with research. Both concepts seek to develop knowledge. So, there are different ways of conducting research through the relationship with philosophy, which will be detailed now.
Okay, now the metaphysics and epistemology. Okay, the metaphysics is a study the knowledge about who we are, what are the things, that is the time and space, among them two elementals that constitute it stand out. The one is idealism, that indicates that relative is in the mind. The phenomenon depends on mental and social factors, and there is constant change. The materialism that indicate that all the physical things and their interaction exist. Here the phenomena are independent of social factor. There they are stable.
On the other hand, epistemology bases knowledge about validation and the methods used, has two methods to acquire this knowledge. There are empirism that use inductive reasoning by experience, and rationalism that use deductive reasoning by reason. Next, we will learn more about these concepts.
Okay, inductive and deductive reasoning. The inductive rational or the empiristic approach originates knowledge for observation obtained for sensory experience and then develops a conclusion. The problem with
induction in this approach is that we must make and repeat observation a large number of the time for evidence ourselves and ensure that the conclusions are true.
Deductive reasoning, the rationalist approach. This begins with general statements in a simple form called a syllogism, which is a first premise, followed by a more specific statement. This is second premise. And finally, a conclusion is drawn based on the two statements. A problem with this reasoning is that the truth of the conclusions depends on the truth of the premises.
Okay, the hypothetic, one moment, I know.
Yes, hypothetic, deductive. Yeah.
Hypothetic, deductive,
Deductive.
reasoning, or a scientific method. This combined both the indicate reasoning and deductive reason that is experienced with reasoning. This approach must identify or clarify a
Right.
problem, develop a theory or hypothesis.
Yes. Yes.
Harry?
Any problem?
This element is the step of the method, the scientific method.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, no, se preocupe.
Mhm. It seems her audience.
Yeah, and likewise, positivism, relativism, postmodernism, and critical realism are approaches that influence research. In positivism, the knowledge is obtained through a scientific method and is based on the experience obtained through experiments or comparative analysis. Unlike relativism that based on creating knowledge according to what we are experiencing through our perceptions, beliefs, and values.
And the other is the postmodernism, and this only a construction and only one of the many knowledge that is subject to continual revision and change. And the other, the critical realism, the knowledge realism, yes, the knowledge that is discovered through the process of interpretation while carrying out a theoretical and practical work.
Here you can see some key figures in the investigations who used different approaches oriented toward philosophy. For example, you can see Platon, David Hume, George Berkeley,
And Aristotle, and Immanuel Kant, René Descartes, and Thomas Kuhn.
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 Yeah, he's one of the, yeah. Yes, and above all, Thomas Kuhn worked with the concept of paradigm. Remember, we saw also 2-3 classes ago, the concept of paradigm.
Yes.
And he's our contemporary, so he died not so long ago when I was in college, 1995. And therefore, as you see, a science and paradigm and the use of philosophy in science and in different areas of knowledge continue to be developed along history. So you see Plato, Aristotle, and it still goes on and develops. So for you to see that it's not only philosophers are not only old people, that they are also our people that live at the same time as we do. Yes, great. And all of these figures have developed different paradigms, yes, different trends along the philosophical view of science in general and knowledge in general and different areas of knowledge. Okay, girls, thank you. A long history. Thank you.
We invite you to read our most complete summary in Educandus.
Yes.
Yes.
We will make them available, do not worry. We will revise a little bit about that writing. And we will share, once all the summaries are done, we will share them because it will be useful. And remember, there is no position in any kind of research that we think of that is free from some kind of positioning in philosophy. Yes. So remember, you cannot escape this. That would be, and moreover, the book is so interesting so as to recommend the readers doing research to think about this, and also to think when we read literature, analyze which is the positioning of the writers, even when they don't say it openly. And as I was saying, as I was talking to Araceli and Javiera yesterday, you have two main different views. It's positivism and relativism, realism, and all of the others are on the other side, basically divided on how they see reality. Okay, so how, if we understand the world is already existing outside of us, and we need to analyze it as it is, or if it is our creation through perception, through experience, through our own understanding of it. Okay, so basically in those big realms, yes, and then you have other options there, like the critical views, which try to make us think how we can change the reality, not only explain it, understand it, but also change it. Okay, so next, chapter 3 is about the structure. So thank you, girls. That was very clear and very well explained. Okay. Do we have a problem with chapter 3? Girls, are you okay?
Miss, who's next?
Chapter 3 is Griselda and Genesis.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
I will share. Can you see?
Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Genesis.
Are you there? Sometimes there is a problem with connection, probably. Or maybe Genesis has a problem with connection. Here she is. Here she is. She's coming. Hello, Genesis. Can you hear us?
Hello, Miss, everyone. I have a poor connection, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. We're all ears.
Okay. Good morning, Miss, and everyone.
Today we will talk about the chapter number 3 of the book called Structuring the Research Project. My name is Genesis Inostroza and my classmate is called Giselda Escobar.
I'm going to talk about the research process. Hello, everyone. We took this piece of the text and it says research projects are set up in order to explain a phenomenon or to test a theory. Research methods are the practical techniques used to carry out research. According to Walliman, research methods, the basics. There are 4 important questions that you need to consider when you are creating a research project. The first one is what are you going to do? And this will be your subject. The second one is why are you going to do it? And this will be your reason. The third one is how are you going to do it? And it means the research methods that you will use to carry out the project. And finally, when are you going to do it? And this will be the program of the work. These are difficult questions that we must answer in order to conduct an investigation. They are very important. About a research problem, it can be a question, a doubt, a gap in knowledge, or an unrequited need within the chosen subject. When you are creating an investigation, first of all, you need to create question or questions. And it is the simplest way to set up a research problem. The questions, as you know, need answers. So then we can create a new question to continue investigating. And then the second step is the hypothesis. And it is easy because we make them all the time in our daily life. And all the greatest discovery in science were based on hypotheses like the Newton's theory of gravity. And the hypothesis will be very useful to aid to organizing the research. And now my classmate will talk you.
Okay, and then we have to consider the propositions that allows the study to concentrate on particular relationship between events. The first preposition is a statement of a particular situation, and then we will get a conclusion. The use of argument, and here you have to collect information relevant to the question or problem, and that you have based your answers and conclusions on the correct analysis of this information, and you will need to use some logical arguments. The first is the premise, that are statements in the form of propositions of assertions which form the basis of the argument. And then we have the conclusion, that is a proposition that expresses the inference drawn by logical steps from the original premise. Distinct arguments. The text needs to detect the valid from the fallacious arguments. First, we have formal fallacies, where the logical structure underpinning the argument is faulty in some way. And also we have the informal fallacies, and these are misleading because they make false analogies, use emotional and misleading claims, and jump to unjustified conclusions on evidence that is campy, irrelevant, or untrue. Finally, to consider, we have constructing an argument. And here there are only 2 basic aims of argumentation. One is to argue for a statement by providing evidence that will support it, and the other is to refute a statement by providing evidence that undermines it.
So this is our presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, girls. Yeah, so it is important to construct an argument. Also, I think, meaning that we all need to get to a conclusion, as the girls have very well explained. So remember that when you finish your project, you need to construct this line of arguments and get to this conclusion. Everything needs to be in the same order, yes, and connected, connect one section to the other. So that is this chapter important for. Of course, you will see this by the end of a long process, but nevertheless, when you're getting to that point, you will remember and go back to this book to help you find this connection between all the elements. Since you start thinking of a hypothesis or a premise or a question or an objective, to the end when you get to the conclusion. So maybe if you read it now, it seems a little bit difficult to understand or barren, like empty, but it has more meaning when you get to the end of your project. Excellent, girls. Excellent. Now, chapter 4.
Miss, you can also find our summary in Educandus.
Yes. We will, everyone, that will be available, we said after next week, when all of the students have finished reading and doing their own presentations. Summaries will be available, so do not worry. And Barbara, yes, Barbara and Javier. Research ethics is very interesting.
Yes.
Interesting topic, yes.
Javier, are you here?
Yes.
Are you here?
Okay. Good morning, Miss. Good morning, classmate. Today with my partner, Barbara Mendoza, we will talk about research ethics.
And this presentation, we will talk about the definition of research ethics, the organization and the ethics committees, and the honesty in your work, and the situation that rise ethical issues. This is around the research method, that is a book of Nicholas Wallman by at the age 2010.
From 2011, I think the book is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So it's a little bit oldish, so we might be told the book is a little bit old,
but the second edition. This is the second edition of this.
Yes, but it's not old, because the basics of research will be always updated, of course, and some information might be outdated fuera de tiempo, but it's a good basis for beginners. So that's why we continue reading it.
Yeah. Have a really good information for person that want develop or give just a investigation. So the ethics is understood as the branch of philosophy that studies the morality of human acts. And scientific research is a human act, therefore it must be governed by the norms that govern human acts.
The organization and ethics committees, all organizations that are involved in research involving, have set up a code of practice for their researches. The ethics committees is to oversee the research carried out in their organizations in relation to ethical issues. And also they formulate the research ethics code of conduct.
Here you can see something aspect that you must consider. The honesty in your work is so important if you will
will develop investigation or research. The intellectual ownership and plagiarism. It is unethical to appropriate other people's work. The acknowledgement, I'm sorry, Javiera.
The acknowledgement and citation, it is necessary to acknowledge the source of the elements you use in your research through quotations to indicate the collaboration of other people.
The responsibility and accountability of the researchers, a precise description of the work carried out, how the information was obtained, what was done to obtain it, and the result, technique and data analysis must be provided.
In data and interpretation, the objective of the investigation must be maintained, transparency must be maintained, explanation must be given, results must be present in an impartial manner, and the investigation must not be biased.
And the last one aspect that you will consider is, where do you stand? The research is based and must be understood by the audience.
In the situation that raise ethical issues, we can find four. The first is research aims that explain that you will have to argue that the aims of your research in accordance with the ethical standard prescribed by your university or organization. The second is the use of language. Explain that how you use language has an important influence when doing and writing up a research. In the presentation, the role of the research, which might influence the attitude and expectation of the people involved in your project. And the last is dealing with participants, and you should treat participants with due ethical consideration and use the information they provide.
And for the carrying out the research, you must consider the potential harm and gain. The researcher should assess the potential of the chosen research method and their outcomes for causing harm or gain. The recording data, when transcribing the data, the original record is lost. So try to be careful with the reorganization of the data. The participant involvement. If you have to be objective and professional, you have to be objective and professional with your questions. The sensitive material. If you work with sensitive material or sensitive information involving participant must be handled with care. The honesty, deception, and covered method. We must work with honesty, avoiding deception and or practice that have other hidden intentions.
The storing and transmitting data, the data collected contains sensitive information, so it is important to devise a secure system for them.
The checking data and draft. It is important to pass the draft of your research report on the supervisors for comment in the confidential way, particularly as it is not read for publication.
In disseminating publications, this should be original and avoid simplification of the results.
And the disposing of records. To remove any record from a research project, all participants should be part of the consent method of disposal. And our conclusion are the research must be conducted with the ethic as one of its fundamental pillars.
The people who are engaged in developing research and papers that attempt to substantiate something must be questions reside with ethics.
And the ethics must be understood by the person as part of his behavior, and more consciously he must act if he or she is going to work to develop a research.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you. If you want understand to better way the ethics, I can share with you this presentation.
Yes,
Or we
don't
can
worry, we will have space for doing that after next week. All of the materials will be public, do not worry. So it's a great, yes, it's a great summary. Paying attention to the fact that since when we are researching with human beings, we need to treat them with respect. And not force any situation. But also when we work with data, as the girls have indicated, we need to be truthful and not manipulative with data. Yes, so sometimes we try to manipulate documents. For example, even when we are not talking about human beings, we have to be ethical when also dealing with documents or with information that we receive from participants.
Yes,
okay, excellent, girls. Excellent, excellent. Sometimes I think also in all areas of life we need to act ethically.
Yes.
Yes, and research. Research is controlled because of many unethical procedures that have been carried out. Research is very much controlled. Here at the University of Talca, the committee, the research committee is really very, very strict. They have very strict documents with which they evaluate projects. And they try to take care a lot. They try to take care of students' well-being above all, but all of everyone's, every possible participant well-being, and analyze all of different relationships that researchers can have with people. So they are very, very strict. And this is a whole area, new area that we all need to learn about. So the institutional review board in the United States, that committee is called the Institutional Review Board, and therefore they revise everything that has to do with ethics. And it is an important area to know. I think there is yes, and there is also need to study, to read cases, and to read legislation, because there is also international legislation in regards treating with, above all, with human beings.
Yes, we have. Sorry, Miss. Only the last thing that I said that I want to say. First, the ethics is important because don't work with ethics don't affect the results of the research, and is so important because the quality of the investigation is the objective. No, yes, it's the objective of the investigation for trust in the investigation, trust in result, and work with the result.
Yes, exactly.
And also we can find a lot of biography interest for the classic literature like Platon or Aristotle. They have good work talk about the ethics and morality. And
yeah, in every area of life.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and yes, it's a serious matter if the board, if the committee does not allow, does not accept a research project because of considering it unethical, the research, for example, the research can be conducted, but the results, as Barbara says, cannot be published. So imagine how serious it is when the review boards, when committees, ethical committees, consider that some investigation is not ethical. It's very serious matter. So the University of Talca does not allow us to publish results of research conducted with human beings if they consider something has been done in an unethical way. So it's a serious matter, really serious matter. Okay, girls. And we have, and Lucas also around there. The last group, Araceli, I don't know, it's Alejandra and Eileen. They also begin with A. Names. So we are all ears. Yes, we can see. Literature. Oh, this is a wonderful topic.
Good morning, classmates and teachers. We want to talk
Hello?
about finding and review the literature with my partner, Alejandra Reyes.
Like introduction, next we will present the importance of finding and reviewing the literature, how it's possible to access reliable sources and identify what we are looking for and work properly with what we find.
So finding and reviewing the literature. And the reason for doing research is to generate knowledge and understanding and disseminate so everyone can use it. And the first step is planning the project is to do a literature review in order to have quality information to able to analyze it and present it with a solid base. And there is a lot of information, but the problem is where to find relevant and quality data. Since searching the internet will show us amount of unnecessary information there is about all the topics. Even a visit to the bookstore can be a daunting experience. So there are search techniques and places that can make it easier to find information such as of the list alone.
And one technique is find information in libraries. In the university library, you will find a wealth of information, and this is why it should be your first choice. As well as especially libraries in university departments, in professional institutions, and technical research facilities. Some facilities that you should investigate to run research are a library catalog, journals and newspapers, electronic databases, and librarians.
Information service. Government departments, pressure groups, and voluntary organizations, as well as research establishments, provide us and publish details of their latest work.
Okay, other place in when you find information is museums and galleries, national and local. This place produce a variety of printed and electronic information, such as records of private historical collections.
People, there are many experts in many fields to research who will be willing to advise you. At your university, much of the staff will be involved in the research.
Also, you can find information on internet. Your own university internet provides reading and presentation presentation of notes produced by their own staff.
For the other hand, we have the internet with 1,000 of pages being added every day. The internet is the source that connects everyone, but however, the content is varied and it is a challenge to find quality information.
Okay, evaluating of web sources to judge the quality of the contents, you should observe that the pages are constantly being updated. Compare the data obtained with other sources, such as books or articles, and see if they coincide or contradict each other. Find out if the information found is fragmented without important data or is supported by relevant authors, recognized experts, or a reputable organization.
And doing a literature review, you can see here the steps that we need to follow. And when a reading review is made, we need to adopt a critical attitude towards that we read, determining if what we read has evidence, has support, and if it has quality and relevance in its content. There are the key steps that we'll review what is useful to us about the text, and in the same way, it is necessary to make a review of the points that we will useful and that collect what we need.
Okay, to analyze the text, each piece of literature should be analyzed in details as a quality control. This will be useful for the process of selecting information for review. The objective is to find flaws that allow us to present a criticism or carry out analysis for own information and develop this ability. It's necessary to read, deepen this review.
And finally, present your analysis. Our review must provide concepts and advances in the thinking of the chosen topic. For this, we must cite relevant publications and authors that support the description. To carry out our criticism requires a more systematic approach. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, girls. So this is a very important chapter, I think. Very important. You are going to be reading literature, let me tell you. Articles, you will be selecting, analyzing them, and as the girls explained, critically analyzing them. So it's not only reading at the superficial level, but going in depth. And in many cases, you will have to analyze everything the authors have tried to explain, yes, their philosophy, their view of the world, and their objectives, the methods they have used, and how do they contribute to your project. So it is a really thoughtful process and a very important process, because you will be doing it at a smaller scale, but imagine in a bigger scale, you really need to work very in a very organized way, and the girls have had their list in order to analyze all of the materials, all of the articles that you can find on a certain topic. And therefore, this article is the one I found the most important, even for myself. I have literature that I have been reviewing, and I need to systematize now to analyze critically, go back and reanalyze. And I think this is a process that when you learn to do it, that will be great. And it will open many, many doors for everything that you want to do in your future. Even if you don't do research in the future, it will be wonderful also for teaching, for your teaching career. So it is important that we learn to do the basics, and you will do this for this year and next year until you finish your projects. So this is this is great, girls. Congratulations. So I will announce. So the girls will this work will be published next week after our other classmates have finished their readings. Remember that early childhood education program students will be presenting next Thursday. So they will have to do the same job, go through so you have a great view of what is coming. Yes, and here you will have other, some other lines included by me, but only just some important elements, some important reminders, like honesty is essential. So remember that when doing your own summaries, you need to follow different steps. And these two main steps we'll revise at the very beginning. We will revise this, and then we will have a short break for you to go to the bathroom, bring something hot. Very cold here in Linares. I will bring some hot tea, and we will do something practical. Next, the next part of the period of our period. So you will something we need to revise as well. So remember that this revision of how to write a summary is important for you to reread again. Okay, remember Owlcation has been a great resource in this. So remember how you identify the main idea or topic, and you have done this with the chapters and with whatever you read. Okay. So identify the place. Okay, you have identified the book, the place, the author. Yes, it is a chapter. Remember, analyze. Do this meta-analysis. Is it expository, argumentative, literary? Yes, so it's a scholarly read, an expository text, a book on research methods. Dedicated especially to beginners in the world of research. So you take notes. Remember, you have all of the instruments to take notes and identify certain notions or arguments. And so in this, it's very easy, yes? So if I go here, find and reviewing the literature, okay, so this is, what is the core here? So how you're going to find, first of all, and have different places where to find literature, and how you review. And the girl said it perfectly well. You can find it in the library and internet, intranet, here and there, and you review with a critical eye, critically. It's not just descriptive. Yes, this person speaks about these topics. No, it's critically reviewing, because these writers have a message to say, have a view of the world. As we said, when we read the abstracts, do you remember the abstracts? So you said, yes, well, these teachers in India you described it. Yes, very well. So the teachers in India want to know the experiences of teaching online. They have a deeper thought. They have a position in philosophy. They see the world with special eyes. And this is something you have to say, yes, as Profesora Marianela says, you have to see under the water, ¿sí? Ver debajo del agua. ¿Qué quieren decir estas profesoras? Estudian las experiencias, pero ¿qué ven ellas del mundo? ¿Cómo entienden ese mundo? Okay, so we see below water, yes? Below what is apparent. And therefore, you might find notions and arguments. Yes, what do they say about these experiences? What is their position in the world? Okay, and which is the argument that is repeated. Of course, in these chapters, it is easier because it's about the topic. Yes, they are trying to teach, guide you in some specific topic. Yes, in ethics, in literature review. So that is easy to, all of these are easy to find out. Then, when you go to the second step, you find the arguments, and maybe within the article you have more than one argument. Yes, you have finding and reviewing critically, the literature critically. Then you have no, the one about developing an argument. If you have a hypothesis, which are the elements? Okay, so you develop the argument, yes, and make annotations. The important thing is your understanding. Make your annotations. Underline the topic sentence of each paragraph, remember, and write the sentence in your own words. So this is important. Whenever you're going to produce, now we transfer all of this to your work, your summary. And remember, you have specifications, you have number of words. Again, I am not going to count one word by word. Also, word tells us, but around 1,000, 1,400, 500 is okay. But you need to be able to explain in your words, yes? And, but leading the topic sentences, the first sentences will give you a lot of help in organizing that writing. So you rewrite the main ideas, you use transition words first, the chapter explains about finding the literature. Second, the chapter explains about analyzing the literature, and so on and so forth. Those are transition words, first, second, third, on the one hand, on the other hand, for example. We will see some other conjunctions later. Be sure you don't use the same words in the original. Remember, you are learning to transmit write in your own words. So you're respecting the content, but not copying literally. As much as you can. It's an exercise that we have to learn to do step by step. So by now, I expect more independence on your explanation with your own words. And leave outside details, examples. Yes, so the chapter also includes examples. You leave that outside. And we are not thinking about being so short. Remember, we are not thinking of being short, but we are thinking of respecting the content. Remember, el contenido, the content of the chapter. Okay, so do you have any questions in regards to this? And then our next part of the class will be about writing and sentence writing review, because whatever we do with this exercise of we need writing. And I'm not going to copy the sentences from the book, but I can write my own sentences that are accurate, understandable, and that communicate the message. Yes? So do we agree in that? And we will start with very basic, very basic sentences. We are going to explain about this, and we will begin with the problems in writing. So this is something I have been doing with students since the first year, looking at which are the common problems when writing in English. Okay, so do we have 5 minutes to go to the bathroom? Are we okay?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, and bring something hot to drink, and you will do exercises. And we have a game online. Hopefully we can do it. We can all participate. It's interesting, a website that is very interesting to find some games some quizzes already done for you also to do with your students. Okay, so I hope to see you soon, please. If you have problems with connection, you can, if it is better for you, you can disconnect and then you come back in 5-10 minutes and I allow you in again if this is better for you. So I hope you all keep holding on. Okay, see you in a minute. As I was explaining, there are several problems that teachers find in writing. Also, when we are writing, we are accustomed to writing very long sentences in Spanish, and I do not know why, since it is easier to write shorter sentences, more concise, precise, to the point, and not so long ones. But we tend to repeat this in English, and therefore we can make many mistakes. So we're going back to writing. Sentence writing review, which is something you need to go back to in several occasions whenever you have a doubt on how to write a sentence. So we find these problems when students write in English. When we write in English as well, sometimes we might have these events. So everything with an asterisk here means it's wrong. Okay, so these are examples that are wrong, and we are going to work together in correcting. So we have fragments. So this is the first, one of the options that we might find is a fragment. A sentence fragment is an incomplete sentence, and it usually lacks either subject. Sometimes you write without a subject, and you might have received that feedback from me. This is not possible in English. We don't have an empty subject, okay? And so we might have a lack of subject or a verb phrase. Sometimes you write only some kind of phrase or some clauses, but you don't write complete sentences. So, for example, we can have this example. The teacher who is from Argentina called Paula, but this sentence is incomplete. And you might think there is a verb here. Si pensamos que hay un verbo, entonces está bien. But no, this is only a dependent clause. Yes, from this one, the teacher called Paula, who is from Argentina. But I am not finishing the sentence. I don't have a main verb. So this sentence lacks the whole predicate. Yes, we have the subject, but we miss the whole predicate. How can we complete that sentence? Call Paula. How do we correct it? We need the whole verb and complement. ¿Qué nos falta en esta? Nos falta todo el predicado. Nos falta el verbo, nos falta los complementos de lugar, de tiempo, de modo, whatever we want to say.
The last name. Is a question, Miss? O sea,
It's not a question, no. This is a sentence.
Okay.
Es una oración que falta el predicado. ¿Sí? Falta el verbo y todo lo que viene después del verbo. Esto es solamente un sujeto. Está incompleto. No sé qué pasa con esta persona. So how can we complete it?
Work in the University of Talca.
Yes, works
in the University of
Talca. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Excellent. Another option, another predicate.
Make class online. Make online class.
Takes classes online. Yes, I do classes online with a professor from the University of Barcelona and with a professor from the University of Chile. So yes, I do classes online. So excellent. Excellent.
She wrote
Classes online, lives in Linares, studied in the United States. You have many things to say, but always remember I need to have the subject and the predicate with what we learned in elementary school. Remember, we learned this in elementary school. And I have mainly one subject, the teacher, and mainly one verb. Works, takes, studied, lives, is attending. Whatever aspect or tense of the verb, but I need specifically these two elements, otherwise it's incomplete. But the most common of mistakes is the run-on sentence. Oh my gosh, I start writing and I never finish. So you get on go, you keep on going. Oh, it's terrible. So this, and you separate with commas. Have you seen this writing? Yes, you separate in, no, this is absolutely not possible. So we need to focus on independent clauses or sentences that are independent one from the other. So in order to see these mistakes, we are going to go to the next slide, in which we have an independent clause. So an independent clause can stand alone as a sentence, and it contains subject, verb, as I said, a subject and a verb, and is a complete idea. So here we have very simple sentences that we can work with our students, but from there, we can also have more complex ones as this one. The teacher who is from Argentina called Paula works at Talca. And all of them are independent clauses. They have a meaning on their own, and they have a subject and a verb. And now here we have a long subject. If you see, this is all the subject. We have main word in the subject, which word is the main word in the subject? And we did this also in elementary school. We used to do this. The word teacher in this case. So we're talking about the teacher and the action and the verb is works. Takes, leaves, as I said, lived, studied, came, whatever, yes, is going, is working, whatever.
With a verb always, no? The predicado?
The predicate, yes, the predicate, yes. But we have a main word. In the subject is the word teacher, and in the predicate is the word works. Yes, so we have a subject and predicate. So here we have very simple sentences, but for you to focus that we can have different kinds of verbs. We have a verb here that is a linking verb, like the verb to be, is, are. So we don't exactly have an object. Here we have a verb of action. Yes, so here we have an object, subject, verb, object. And here we have a verb of, it's not a verb of action, it's a verb of perception, of mental state. And we also have an object, subject, verb, object. So the subject can be a person, an animal. We did this also in elementary school, an animal, place, a thing, a concept. Yes. Studying English is a concept and can be a subject. Studying English is important for your future, for example. So the subject is a response to the question who or what. Then we have verb. The verb is also something vital in a sentence. So I have to be able to recognize the subject and the verb. If I don't have this, I don't have a sentence. So the verb expresses what the person, animal, place, thing, concept does or feels or is. So we don't always have a verb of action. Yes, sometimes we have other constative verbs. So determine the verb. So by asking a question, what was the action? What happened? What is the, or something, yes, the verb to be, which is not a verb of action. I like, or he reads. This is a verb of action. This is a state verb, but they respond to, they need to be present in the sentence. And the verb to be is referred to as a copular or a linking verb. Yes, the verb to be. It links the subject to the complement or the predicate. And this is a very, very much used verb in English. We use it a lot. Para ser o estar. Object. Basically a person, animal, place, thing, or concept that receives the action or that is referred to if we use the verb is. So that occupies a place after the verb. And sometimes we write things in the middle of objects and verbs. And that makes reading also very difficult. We do the same in Spanish. And so we need to change this. It's a bad habit. Yes, we put many things in between. So I like very much spaghetti. You can have those events. Yeah. Now I like spaghetti very much in any case. And I have been giving you this feedback. So he reads every day many books. No, he reads many books every day, for example. So generally the verb and the object, immediately what I am saying about that verb needs to be immediately after. And the prepositional phrase begins with a preposition, as for example, I like spaghetti for dinner, he reads in the library. And they respond to different questions as where, when, ¿sí? ¿Se acuerdan los complementos de lugar, de tiempo que estudiábamos en español? O de modo. Cuando tengo un adverbio, por ejemplo, he likes, no, he reads many books quickly. So that also goes at the end. It's not a prepositional phrase, but goes at the end in the sense that indicates how something is done. Okay, so those examples are very easy. Of course, you have more difficult sentences, but anyway, it's applicable to many situations. We will do some exercises. So a sentence must have a complete idea that stands alone, a complete idea. So when I finished my idea, that's a sentence. So this is also called an independent clause. He obtained his degree. And this is the order. In general, even in very complicated sentences, you might have this at the very back. Así como en el fondo si yo pienso en la oración, tiene que tener esta estructura. Aunque tenga más elementos, aunque tenga oraciones subordinadas. Esto es lo principal. This is the main thing. So I need to be able to recognize this element, subject, verb, object. So she wrote. So this is a simple sentence, yes, subject, verb. She completed her literature review. Yes, here. They organized the information on the poster. And I can keep on writing and adding more elements. Nevertheless, I always find this structure at the back. They organized the information on the poster yesterday morning, and I can keep on adding in the library, for the next presentation. I can add many other things, but the most important thing is they organize information. So this is at the back of every sentence we read in Walliman, in Kuhlman, in Shakespeare. Every writer wrote with this structure. And so this is important to discover. So this is a simple sentence, but we also have compound sentences, which you are expected to write at this level. And that means you have two clauses. Yes. For example, Laura completed her homework on English literature and she created her presentation on English authors. So two sentences that can be independent, joined together with the coordinating conjunction and. So this is important also for your level. So I'm not writing simple sentences. Laura completed her homework. She created a presentation. She presented in class. No, yes, we are not writing like list of sentences as when we were in elementary school. Now we are combining the sentences. And this is the easiest way to do them with coordinating conjunctions. The students studied English verb tenses and aspects, but they missed the past perfect progressive tense. So in this sense, we can write more complex sentences. What is this? Okay, and here we have some of the coordinating conjunctions. For is the meaning of because, so I have to find a new job because I am unemployed, or for I am unemployed. So you have this meaning. You can use either. And is in addition. Yes, you know the conjunction and is very much used. Nor means not. Neither my parents nor my friends. Ni este ni el otro. Neither nor. So everything is negative in this sentence. But implies however, opposite. I have got a home, but I haven't got a car. Exactly, this is the case. I have an apartment, but I don't have a car. Exactly. This is either, yes, or this or that, yes. Does Clark have any brothers or sisters? Yet means but. She says nice words, but you don't trust him, or yet. And so means therefore. And you use so a lot, but you need to learn to use it correctly. My daughter is very smart, so everybody likes her. I study very hard, so I will have good grades, for example. So all of these are resources that you can check. I also added them in the previous weeks. In previous weeks, in the previous week presentation. And now we will work together in this, and you will work in groups with, we will do a quiz online, and then you will work with another piece of practice to practice in groups, but we will do this together. Okay, so if you read this section, can you understand what we're talking about? Can you read it even? Who wants to read aloud?
What sentence, Miss?
This one. Sorry.
Example. This task is very difficult. We have to read a lot of website and book chapters. The teacher commented that we need to improve in reading. We have to read more authentic source about the main course themes.
Okay, so I read this in your work. What do you think? Do we have several sentences? in one? Tell me. If I tell you, I will write a comment and say, please consider this is a very long sentence, divided into shorter ones. Okay, so you receive this and you write a correct sentence or sentences. Which will be them? They. We start the same.
Maybe that in the first isn't present and this should be in past.
No. The verbs are okay.
No.
The problem is that there are too many sentences together. O sea, el problema, los tiempos de verbos también, solamente que están muchas oraciones juntas y eso yo tengo que separar. Eso está mal. So, which are the sentences I can separate? Remember, we can have
Teacher, maybe the first sentence is this tag is very difficult. We have to read a lot of website and book charters.
Be careful. Where does the first sentence finish, Javiera? Where is the end? Where do I write a full stop?
In charters?
Too long. Remember, I can have a very short sentence with a linking verb. The movie is good. Full stop. It's a complete sentence. Is this a complete, can you find here a complete meaning? This task is very difficult. Is it complete?
Miss,
yes.
maybe, yes, is complete. And then maybe we have, we have to read note. A lot, we have to read a lot of information.
A lot of websites. It's okay. And what Javiera was saying, and book chapters. Do I have a complete sentence there?
Yes, it's complete.
It is complete because look what follows. The teacher, so I am changing the theme. Cambio completamente el tema. Entonces, eso significa que si estoy escribiendo junto esta oración, we have to read a lot of websites and book chapters. The teacher, ya estoy cambiando de tema, necesito otra oración. ¿La ven más clara?
Yes.
Exactly. The teacher commented. What did the teacher comment? The teacher commented that we need to improve in reading. Is this a complete sentence?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is complete. Yes, the teacher commented that we need to improve in reading. And we have subject, teacher, verb, commented, object, that we need to improve in reading. So as I said, the object can have many forms, a variety of forms. Can be one word or a whole clause. But you have this organization at the back of every writing in English. So whenever you recognize this, it's easier for you to understand. Okay, it's complete. And finally, we
have to read more authentic source about the main course.
Yes, so we have to read more authentic sources. And this is true to life, yes. Authentic sources about, yes. And so if you divide all of these sentences, you will have subject, verb, object. Yes, always. So we have to read, what do we have to read? A lot of websites and book chapters. Subject, verb, phrase. We have a verb phrase because we have here as a modal verb, and object, all of these. The teacher, subject, verb, that we need to improve in reading. All of this is the object. It's a whole clause. It's a noun clause. And then we have to read more authentic sources. Again, we use have as a modal, subject, verb, all of this verb phrase. What we have to read? Authentic sources about, and we have here another prepositional phrase, and we can continue adding things, but we have this at the back: subject, verb, object. Yes, a person, yes, someone, a verb, and something that follows afterwards. Okay, is this clear, this example? Is the example clear?
Yes, Miss.
Yes. All right. So we have a task. It's not to do it completely. No, not to do it in a complete way, but just for you to have examples. Just for you to have an idea. Okay. But before doing that, we have examples in this task. But before doing that, I am going to share with you a website which is very useful for when teaching. Only let me find it. So in that website, there are quizzes already done. And whatever you have to do is just find the quizzes done and use it with students on different topics. So it's easy. Just to show you the website as a teaching tip, and to do something different in groups. And then you will see the other task for 10-15 minutes, and we will come together to a conclusion. Okay. So this is a game or a quiz, and this website has already made quizzes or games, yes, on different topics. So this is on run-on sentences. Can you see? Hello?
Yes.
Can you see the
Yes,
face?
but,
Okay, so be ready to
the
participate.
letter.
Okay, wake up, wake up. So play the game. So
Teacher, the
here,
letter is
very small. Can you see this page?
no,
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Can you see? Can you see?
Yes,
Yes,
Miss.
teacher.
Yes. So the website is Kia, and you find there the exercises, the quizzes you need on your topic. Yes. So this is run-on sentences. Identify if each sentence is a run-on sentence or a complete sentence. So we have so much fun. I read aloud to her. Is this a complete sentence or a run-on? Javiera. ¿Es
Me?
complete o run-on? ¿Son dos oraciones juntas o es una sola completa?
The one run on sentence.
¿Es run-on or complete?
Complete.
Complete sentence. Check answer. No, Javiera. Yes.
How?
We have so much fun. I read aloud to her is a run-on sentence. Son dos oraciones en una, Javiera. ¿Ves? Es a run-on. ¿Recuerdas lo que vimos en la diapositiva?
Miss.
Entonces, no es una oración completa. Una oración completa es sujeto, verbo, objeto. Only. Subject, verb, object. Si ya tengo más elementos y tengo otro sujeto, probablemente está como la que corregimos recién, que tenía todo junto. Sí, varias oraciones juntas. All right, so we go back again. So we have so much fun. I read aloud to her. Tenemos tenemos dos sujetos, tenemos dos verbos. Quizás si no hay un punto, tenemos una run-on sentence. So check answer, and we continue. Soon, Joanne will be reading on her own. Soon,
Complete.
Joanne will be reading on her own. It's a complete sentence. Excellent. 3. A felt pen makes writing easier. A felt pen es como una fibra, como una sí, un marcador, algo así. A felt pen makes writing easier. Complete or run? Araceli?
Complete.
Complete. It's a complete sentence. Yes, you have 2 points. I am left-handed. My mother is also left-handed. Complete or run on?
Run on.
Run on. Yes, now we got the idea. Yeah, yes. Some letters are hard to write. Complete. Complete. Yes, children have problems. Yes, exactly. Yes. The teacher shows us examples. We write sentences.
Run on.
Run
on. Yes. So you need a full stop. My stories are very interesting. I write mysteries.
Run on.
It's a run on. Yes, exactly. Okay, you got it. The felt pen has bright blue ink.
Complete.
Complete. Yeah, now you got it. I follow the words with my finger.
Complete.
Complete. I follow the words. When the children read, following the words. Yes. The ink dries quickly. This makes writing easier.
Complete.
You're asking a question?
I am not sure.
It is run on.
It's a run on. We have 2 sentences. The ink dries quickly. This is a subject.
Oh, yes.
This makes writing easier. Subject, verb, object, always the same, always the same. Okay, excellent. So well done, well done. And so here in this website, kia.com, you can find lots of this. You can create your own activities, and you can start over and do again another practice. So this is a great resource. Okay, so I want you to read these examples, which are a little bit more complex. These sentences are very easy, but for you to see, you can be confused even with the simplest, from the simplest sentence to more complex ones, okay? So you can have different options. So this is exercise. This is the exercise. So a run-on sentence is a mistake, and there are of different kinds of run-on sentences, yes? Happen when writers do not connect sentences correctly. So look at these examples, and we will see different ways of correcting. So my brother name is Osman. He's 16 years old. This is the most common. This is the most common run-on, the ones we were seeing in the examples. So here there is no connecting, word, or there are, for example, probably we can also write a full stop. Yes. My brother's name is Osman, comma, and he's 16 years old. So I can join with a conjunction, or I can write, or I can add a full stop and write 2 sentences. It depends on the style. But together, this is a mistake. Okay, difficult. And if you add more things, it's more difficult to read. Another example. So this is one example and one possibility to correct. So you have several. The second, they are going to save their money, then they will buy a house. So then is not a connecting word. So sometimes you write then and you think you're connecting, but this is not connecting really. So here we have two simple sentences. Yes, then is an indicator of time or sequence, not a connector. It's not and, but, so. So this is not a coordinating conjunction. So here the solution is to write two sentences, simple sentences, separate one from the other. They are going to save their money, then they will buy a house. So this is another option. Pay attention because you can have these writings in your own examples. These examples in your own writing. So now I am going to study math. I want to become an engineer. So here you have several ways. So comma is not a way to connect or separate. Yes, the comma in this case is incorrect. So you can write and, or you can write because. It's also a possibility. Yes, and you have it in the coordinating conjunctions. I am going to study math and become an engineer, or I want to study math because I want to become an engineer. It will be a little bit more complex, but you know how to write that. You have had the experience. And then first he will wash the clothes, after he will dry them. So again, this is incorrect. So you can write a compound sentence and then, or different sentences organizing step-by-step process, for example, or use after. After he washes the clothes, he will dry them. And in this case, this is a time clause. Esto es como toda una cláusula de tiempo. Okay, so you have different, or you can write a series of sentences. First, he will wash the clothes, full stop. After that, he will dry them, full stop. Following that, he will put them away. So you can write a list of sentences, but one sentence is a mistake. So you can have many of these examples. I'm sure this is this has happened to you. So now we will see, we will indicate if these sentences are okay or if they are run-on, and then you will have a possibility to work with these sentences. For five minutes, and then we can complete the class. Okay, so we do this together. In the year 2025, I think my life will be very different. This sentence is okay. Yes? It's done already. Okay. So this is time, and this is the main sentence. Here, this is a run-on. I will be much older. I will be middle-aged. So clearly, I have two sentences in one. So this is a run-on. Yes, we agree. Number 3. I am not married now. In 2025, I think I will be married. Is this a run-on or is this okay?
It's run-on.
It's a run-on. I am not married now. In 2025, I think I will be married.
Yes, it is run-on.
Where do you see the connection? So remember, this is a run-on because I don't have any connection in the middle or a full stop. But in this case,
I think that maybe the correct way will be, I think that in 2025, I will be married.
yes, this is another option.
In,
yes.
I don't know. I feel uncomfortable. Read. I think I will. I think I will.
Okay. But it's okay. Now the sentence is correct.
Okay.
I corrected it. But what Barbara is saying is perfectly okay. Yes, I think that I will. And that's another rule of those of that sentences, of relative clauses. Okay, that's another rule. But both are okay. Yes, I think that this is here, like behind. Yes, like silent. Okay, perfect, Barbara. I hope to get married in a few years after. I hope we will have children. It's okay or a run-on?
Run-on?
It's a run-on, clearly. We saw the examples. Remember that after you need to use it correctly. Otherwise, the meaning is wrong. Okay. So this is a run-on. Yes, exactly. All right. This is okay. Let me check if this, let us check if this is okay. Number 5. Now, I do not own a house, but I hope to have a nice one in 2025. Is it okay? Or run? Remember that but is a coordinating conjunction. Se pueden unir oraciones con but. Is it okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ok. Estamos uniendo. Ahora no tengo, pero voy a tener. All right. Is the run-on. It's okay. 6. I am going to finish my education, then I will begin my career.
It's okay.
Yes, okay.
Remember, then?
No, because have a then.
Yes, what happens with then is not a conjunction. No une dos oraciones. Es aquí es una indicación de tiempo. ¿Sí? Primero esto, luego esto. Okay, so it's a run-on. Yes.
Made a point.
Be careful, it's tricky. Hace muchos trucos. Be careful. Cuando hagamos una lista, first, then, esos no son coordinating conjunctions, no unen dos oraciones, ¿sí? Separa cuando se hace una u otra acción. Okay, 7. After I begin my career, I am going to work very hard.
After I begin my career, I'm going to work.
We have it here. We have the example with after. After he washes the clothes, he will dry them. So this
is run-on. After I no, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yes.
It's a time clause. It's adverbial clause. Se llaman adverbial clause. Indica tiempo. ¿Sí? After I begin my career, I am going to work very hard. I hope to have a good job in 2025 so my family can live well. Remember, so is a coordinating conjunction. So puedo unir dos oraciones con so. Significa consecuentemente, ¿verdad? Una consecuencia. So is it okay? Whatever, no. So significa consequently. Therefore, por lo tanto, por consecuencia.
It's okay.
It's okay, yes. All right, so be careful how we join sentences, how we separate them. Yes, esa es la recomendación. Cuando yo separo o como las uno. Pero de manera que yo no esté uniendo oraciones todas similares con sujeto, verbo, objeto en una sola. ¿Sí? Ese sería el objetivo a superar. Okay, so here we have more examples. So 5 more minutes so that we can check this. You do them and we check them and we can finish the class, okay? So we will separate, how many are we? 12. Okay, so we can work in groups and I will send this document. I will save our changes and you can work with these sentences. And you have more sentences for later. So this is something we need to practice because then when we write, oh, we have this doubt. So we will separate in groups and you will receive the document to work on those sentences. So let's share some sentences. It doesn't matter. This is a moment of learning, so do not worry. We are going to discuss 2 or 3 sentences, and then you can keep on practicing. Because remember, you need to write many sentences. So let us try to focus on them correctly. So who wants to share one sentence you did and we discuss it? Come on. So we can run.
In the second sentence, we began our trip. It was very cold.
You want to share? Do you want to share so we see it, or do I share?
Es que lo que pasa es que lo hicimos como nosotros pensamos, pero no avanzamos mucho porque para hacerle, como tiene problemas de conexión, se caía.
Okay. So you dictate to me so we can see the sentence. Okay. Doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if you did only one, but let us check. So it is easier for us to see. And I am trying to find my, okay. Yes, I was trying to find mine. Okay, so we said goodbye, that one or 2? We began our trip, it was very cold.
Yes.
Okay, so when we began our trip, it was very cold. Excellent. Excellent. I like it a lot. Yes, that's a good solution for a run-on sentence. Yes, exactly. Excellent. Another one, we arrive at the airport. When we arrive at the airport.
We think in and but he
there is something
here we have and again, so and here is not okay.
No, then it's not okay there. So when we arrive at the airport, we went to the ticket counter and checked our bags. Excellent. There it is. Now we have a correct sentence. Very good. Yes, 2 and 3 are correct. Yes. Anyone else has another option for this these sentences that you want to share? It would be good. Griselda, do you have any option to see so that we analyze? So remember, these are sentences for you to
which one?
The ones, no, the ones you were working with. Let us, the same as Barbara or others. Whoever has it. Daniela, who has any other one to share? Just to see.
In the number, okay. I will share.
And we analyze and then we can round up.
In the number 4, we add a comma. This was my first time on a plane.
And put the comma.
Okay, think second thoughts. What else would you do with that sentence? Remember everything you know. You know coordinating conjunctions. You know full stop. Okay, 4, check about 4. But a comma, no, it will not be the correct one. Yes, a comma is not used for this, for separating the sentences, okay? Number 5, the plane left the ground, okay, the same problem is in 5. Okay, let us check 8. I miss my friends. However, I was excited about starting a new life. That's excellent. That is it. Number 8. Yes?
We got one right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But the others, all of the others have the same problem that we have been checking. Yes? 2 sentences in one, but not, we cannot, the choice is not to separate in commas. No. You need to find another way to join them or separate them. Whether they are separate sentences or we join them with after, with then, with and, but, or, however. This is a way of joining sentences because. Excellent. Yes, excellent. So number 8 is an excellent option. Number 4, what would we do with number 4? This was my first play. It felt like a bus at first. So it's like opposite, yes? Opposite meanings?
But,
yes, however.
However.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It is a possibility. So you find a solution. So remember, a comma is the last choice. We will learn, hopefully we have time to revise when to use commas in English. And in that sense, we will avoid, just thinking we can separate with commas. Excellent, excellent. Do you want to check any other?
Then number 5.
Number 5, what happens with number 5? How
when the plane. I put when.
Excellent. When the plane left the ground, it made my stomach. Yes, exactly. Excellent. When the plane left the ground, it made my stomach feel strange. Excellent. Number 6.
I put a point after hours. No comma.
After, we can change after. Yes, after we flew for a few hours, we landed in Canada. And there we have a comma. Because after, if you write after at the beginning, yeah, the same as with when, ven, lo mismo que con when, after, inicia una cláusula adverbial. Entonces ahí indica el tiempo. After at the beginning. After we flew for a few hours, we landed in Canada. Do you understand? The same as with when. Pasa lo mismo que con when. Y ahí sí tenemos coma. Luego de esa frase, esa cláusula adverbial, when the plane left the ground, ahí sí tenemos coma. Solamente en esos casos, no para separar oraciones completas de otras. Okay. And then number 7. We walked off the plane, my relatives were there. También otra frase como de tiempo.
Be because.
When we walk.
When.
Yes.
I think
when we walked off the plane, comma, my relatives were there.
Excellent. And in number 6 is after. After we flew. Number 6, after at the beginning. Yes, excellent. So now you have learned a lot about sentences and how to join them or separate them according to the meaning we want to give them. Yes, so however, so you learn these coordinating conjunctions, and, but, or, yet, so the fun voice, remember the fun voice, for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And these other ones, however, when, after. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so if you don't, there are more exercises here, but you can continue on your own or practicing, or whenever you have a doubt, go back to this explanation, and hopefully you will find it useful. So, in order to round up the class, Next week, we will have the presentation by our classmates from the early childhood education. So, no, this is not the power. Sorry. This was not the one. And therefore, let me open. Therefore, they will have the task of finishing their summaries and presenting next Thursday. Okay, anything that we reflect about what we learned today, or some question you want to ask? Something to summarize, to sum up? We want to learn, we question.
We learned about the run out.
Run on.
Run on. Sorry.
The run on. Yes, a run on. Remember, run on sentence.
And the complete sentence?
Yes. The complete sentences. Yes. Complete sentences, single, simple, or compound. Yeah? Cuando tienen dos unidas. Yes. And about research, what did we learn? So,
the structuring.
Structure a research project. A research project comes from the very beginning, yes, from deciding on the basics. With all the elements that you need to take into account. Yes, another thing, Barbara?
Maybe the not condition, but is stuff that for consider when we want to develop research. Yes, but is the basic structure of the research?
Yes,
the specification, more about the specification inside of the research.
Yes, exactly. So the structure and specifications. Yes, always you have to go back to that. Even if you're at a more advanced level, this is a good start. This is a good basis. The structure and the specifications of a research project. Okay, project. All right, any question that you would like to ask?
No, miss.
No? Okay, so for next week, pay attention. So on the 29th of April, we will have another presentation, and the materials are in week 5. So week 5, workshop 1, you have the materials to find the book, the PDF for the book, and with the authors, the different chapters. Then students from the early childhood education program are presenting next Thursday. Will present next Thursday. So we are not going to make public our presentations or revisions, summaries up to now, until the girls also do their exercise of reading and summarizing. After next Thursday, I will open a forum and you will upload all of the materials and you will be sharing and reading each other's work. Again, you need to do your best to finish the task in 1 week, Remember, so now the girls in early childhood will be preparing the summaries, and the girls in elementary school education program will be finishing tasks 1, the ones that have corrections, task 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and I will be giving you feedback or the grades. Remember that the accumulation of these grades is the final grade. So let us try to do our best. Then the finished tasks will be created on Educando. So elementary school, you will upload your summaries to the task I will create. So some of you have already uploaded, but then I get confused where you upload them. Now, so I will create a task for the documents for the summaries. So I will have 5 summaries for each program. It's easier to manage, yes, less work. And then the final summaries I will create the task. Yes, and I think it's not going to be in week 5 because otherwise we will be confused. So it will be in week 6. Do not worry, I will let you know. And everyone contact me in case you need questions for the presentations next week. Okay? So do you have any questions?
No, it's all clear.
Okay, Sophia, thank you, and have a great week. Have a great week. Work hard, and think that these are already. This is work that we are already finishing. We will have only time for the pre-projects in June. So it's a good effort. It's good effort that we're making today to finish these intermediate tasks. Okay, so that's all on my side. If you need anything, just contact me. I will send the girls in early childhood education my cell phone, so you can contact me via WhatsApp, or via email is also possible. Okay, so that's all
Miss.
on my side. Thank you, girls. Practice, keep writing and practicing. And we will master this skill of writing, finally. And reading. Also reading a lot. Okay, girls, Vicky, see you. See
Bye,
you next
Miss.
week.
Take care.
And Lucas. Sorry, guys. Poor Lucas. See you guys.
Teacher.
Yes.
Teacher.
Yes, Araceli.
El documento Word lo intentamos subir nosotros al foro, pero no nos deja como documento, como archivo, así que lo tuvimos que copiar.
No. Araceli, vamos a hacer otra cosa. Yo voy a borrar eso y van a subir el Word a una tarea. ¿Ok?
Ah, ya.